We're here with my 2006 BMW X5. This is the E53 chassis of X5, or first generation. And in the last video, I replaced the front control arms, both the forward and rearward, and I'm still experiencing a slight shudder under braking at higher highway speeds. And wiggling the tires in the front end, I was able to find a little bit of left to right movement up here on the front left side, which indicated to me that something with the tie rod was loose. So I was able to identify that it's actually the ball joint on the inner tie rod that actually connects to the steering rack directly that was experiencing that looseness and likely causing that shudder. So at the very least, I needed to replace that one joint. But you know, while you're there, you may as well take care of other issues that may arise later. So in this video, we're going to be replacing both the inner and outer tie rods on both the left and right side, and this should solve my shudder. So this is the looseness I'm experiencing. And this is what that looseness looks like from underneath. So at a closer look, the outer tie rod end, there's no slop there. It's all just on the inside part up under this boot. So in reality, we only need to replace this joint, but we're doing the whole thing. These parts are not terribly expensive. Now, if you have looseness top and bottom like this, that either means that your control arms are bad or you have a wheel bearing that's going out. These are all the tools that we're going to need for this job. We have a 17mm for removing our wheels, a ball joint removal tool, a 22mm socket that will actually take the nut off of our ball joint. You may also want an open wrench or an adjustable wrench for reinstalling that ball joint. And we also have a 6mm Allen wrench to hold that ball joint from spinning while tightening up that 22mm nut. Next, we have a pair of needle nose pliers. That's what I use to remove the single-use hose clamps on the existing boot. You can also simply use a flathead screwdriver to jam in there and twist. I have a hook-shaped pick for removing the O-ring around the very end of our steering rack. You only need that if you are replacing that O-ring. And then we have a 13mm and a 24mm. In this case, I'm using an adjustable wrench in place of a 24mm. This is to loosen and tighten the collar to lock in our alignment. Next, you're gonna need a 32mm wrench or an inner tie rod end tool to actually remove that inner tie rod end from the steering rack. In my case, I'm using this adjustable pair of channel locks. It's a very large pair. You can also use a large pipe wrench. Working our way down, I also am going to use an impact on the nut for the ball joint. This is definitely not necessary. If you have a large enough wrench, it should be able to take that off no problem. Or a large breaker bar will work just fine. And down here, these two tools theoretically fill the same job. These are going to crimp our new single-use hose clamps on the new boot that we install. One important thing to note, I have a pair that crimps at the very tip of the tool, and that makes it so you actually can't fit the tool where you need to get it to crimp that new single-use hose clamp. So what I'm going to use on this job is this pair of side cutters, and that'll be able to get over the ear of the hose clamp and crimp it down just fine. In fact, I have two adjustment points, so you're able to open the jaw a little bit wider. That's where I'm going to start to crimp that hose clamp, and then I'll go down to the smaller size and crimp it the rest of the way there. So not the ideal tool for the job, but it will absolutely work. Last but not least, you're going to need a torque wrench to torque everything back to spec. These are all the parts we're going to need for this job, and this is per side, right? So this is one side of the car. So starting out here, this is our full tie rod. This is the inner tie rod and the outer tie rod end. So the inner, you can see this exposed ball joint here. It should have a good amount of grease on it. And then you have the standard outer ball joint here that'll actually meet the hub. Working our way up, we have the boot here. We're gonna replace the boot. Even if your boot is good, I would recommend replacing it. It's like 10 bucks. And the likelihood that you're gonna damage it, taking it apart, trying to reuse that boot is very high. So definitely just get a new boot just to have on hand ready to go. These boots also come with these hose clamps. They're single use. They actually crimp on. The very last thing is this O-ring here. And this O-ring actually seats up inside of the boot. Right here, it wraps around the very end of the rack, just helps grease from leaking out. And I've only been able to find this O-ring with this specific brand of boot. This is Febby Bilstein. It's definitely not a necessity, and you could likely find a compatible O-ring at a hardware store. I just haven't been able to find it for sale anywhere on its own. I'm using a Delphi branded control arm. I've had good luck with that brand. I've even seen OE Delphi parts with BMW part numbers on them, right? So these are quality parts. It's a name that you should be able to trust. For that quality, you're still getting a pretty decent cost savings over other OE or OEM parts. All right, so here we have a little bit clearer view of what's going on. This is our tie rod here and the ball joint where it meets the spindle. And on the inside is our inner tie rod. So that goes up into this boot, connects to the actual steering rack. It's another ball joint right about here. So to get started taking this apart, we are gonna loosen this nut. This allows for typically adjustment of your alignment here. Now, if you're only replacing the outers, you would do this, count the number of threads to get your alignment close enough to get you to the alignment shop, and then just replace your outer tie rod out here and you'd be good to go. This nut right here is a 24 millimeter. Another important thing to note is you're actually gonna be spinning this nut clockwise, looking at it from the outside. All right, so we have that nut removed. You only have to do that if you're replacing the outer tie rod end. So if you're replacing the whole assembly, you don't need to worry about this, which can save a lot of headache if you have very rusty parts. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and remove this ball joint, and it's a 22 millimeter nut on top. And I'm going to use an impact just because it's faster and easier. Otherwise, you will need a breaker bar. There we go. So next up, we're gonna use a ball joint removal tool in order to pop this ball joint the rest of the way out. And there's a lot of styles of ball joint removal tool. I'm using this kind of clamp style that pushes together to push the ball joint out. They also have some that pull, and then there are also the tuning forks that you stick in and then hammer. A lot of different options there. There we go. Moving to the inside, there are two hose clamps we're gonna have to remove. There's this outer one here and an inner one that is a larger diameter. This outer one is reusable. That inner one is the crimp style, so it'll be a little bit trickier to remove. Now that inner hose clamp, I don't have a good angle to give you for seeing that, but I'm just gonna go ahead and work the crimp open a little bit, and it should loosen it right up. There we go, looks like it's loose. Should be able to pull that right off. So I'm gonna slide that down just a little bit. Here's our ball joint on the inside, and you can see this outer part here has flat sides. That's in order to get a wrench on, as you might have guessed. So that's gonna be a 32 millimeter wrench. So at this point, we're ready to go ahead and remove this nut. I'm gonna use a large pair of channel locks. You can also use really any sort of pipe wrench or adjustable wrench. Otherwise, an appropriately sized 32 millimeter wrench is the correct tool for the job. Now that that's loose, we should be able to spin our tie rod all the way off. So the very last piece that we have to remove is this O-ring that runs around the perimeter here. So the only kit that I could find that included this O-ring was the Febby Bilstein kit. Now if you buy a kit that doesn't include this O-ring, I really don't think it's a big deal. You could likely find an identical one at a hardware store, or it's very likely that you can just go ahead and reuse the one that's already in there. No big deal. Our next step is going to be installing the inner tie rod, and I'm doing this with everything separate just to make life a little easier going together here. I'm gonna use the same channel lock to tighten this down, and it doesn't need to be anything crazy. I pretty much just want to match the amount of torque that it was to remove the old one, which feels like that right there. Now we're ready to slide our new boot on, and if you're working in a colder climate, it might make sense to warm this up beforehand, because being cold can very much limit the pliability. So what I ended up doing was putting a little bit of silicone lubricant around the lip of the boot, and it went on very easy. And then we can push this part back just to where it kind of snaps in, right there. So you'll kind of feel the boot engage the inner tie rod. That's how you know it's all the way on. Now I can take our hose clamp, and you see it has multiple adjustments. We're gonna have to get it as close as we can to the correct one. As you can see, we've got that hose clamp as tight as we can get it by hand. We're gonna take the tool that we're gonna use to crimp. I'm using these little side cutters. We're just gonna crimp that down. Drop a adjustment here. I'd say that is pretty well set. And then we can put our outside one on. And I'm gonna swing it so the ear is down so that I can use the actual correct tool for the job just to show you what that looks like. There we go. And so the only real difference with a tool like this is it has this flat part right here that actually pushes against the top of the ear while you're crimping it, which helps get a tighter, more secure crimp. Now we're going to go ahead and install our new tie rod end. Before we can put the tie rod itself on, we're going to go ahead and add the adjustment nut and the locking collar. Now we can go ahead and thread the tie rod on. So we got this adjusted really close to the same length as our last tie rod that we just took out. I'm counting 7 threads here, leaving a little bit of room to be able to tighten this nut down to snug it up. So we're looking pretty good up here. I'm gonna go ahead and feed our ball joint back through the spindle. So to tighten this nut up, you're gonna need a 22mm wrench. In this case, I'm gonna use an adjustable because I don't have a 22mm on hand. And we're also gonna need a 6mm Allen. So our 6mm Allen is gonna go right in the top of our ball joint, and that'll hold the ball joint from spinning while we go to tighten this down. So your options for tightening this are, one, what we're doing, preferably with the correct size wrench and preferably with a ratcheting 22mm. That'll make your life way easier. Your other option, if you don't have the right size Allen wrench, is sometimes you can get lucky kind of jamming the steering to one side or the other, or just gently tapping this in with a rubber mallet. Sometimes it'll grab just enough to allow you to get this started. Impact tools can also work. I found that sometimes they just twist the boot around in a way that doesn't look super healthy for it. I would at least get this mostly started before impacting it, but at that point you may as well just take a torque wrench to it and set it correctly like we're gonna do anyhow. Now we're gonna tighten that nut to 59 foot-pounds or 80 Newton meters. Last thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna be sure to tighten down this locking nut while counter holding the inner tie rod. That's everything that you need to know to be able to replace the tie rods in your E53 BMW X5. This should resolve any looseness that you have in your steering or shutters that you might be experiencing, particularly under braking, like in my case. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe, and check out my other videos, including ones on this car, as well as some other BMWs that I own. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.